Welcome back to the channel. Humans Inspiring Stories. Please subscribe and like my videos. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Today's story is astonishing, not just because of what happened, 3 enemy generals taken down in a moment that seemed impossible, but because of who made it and why. It's a story of faith, of spiritual growth, inner peace, and the power of the human heart. Our protagonist stood in the shadow of doubt. The commander said, "No one can make that shot." But instead of retreating, she stepped forward. This is her journey. She grew up in a quiet home, simple, loving, but modest. From a young age, she felt pulled toward service. She saw the world's scars, the pain in people's eyes, and she wanted to do something about it. She joined the forces, not for fame, but to make a difference. Yet even in training, the whispers were there. Are you strong enough? Are you quick enough? Can you handle the pressure? She doubted. Many nights she lay awake, heart racing, wondering whether she truly belonged. What helped her through? A small medallion passed down from a family member. She held it in her palm before each early morning run, before each night exercise. A silent prayer. A reminder, I am here for more than myself. As she progressed, the physical demanded everything. Early mornings, brutal drills, weapons training, mission planning. But alongside the muscle and stamina, she discovered something else, the stillness inside. Her instructors would push her, hit the range until her fingers cramped, simulate mission stress until her mind blurred. And yet, she found that when she paused, took a breath, and centered herself, her shots became cleaner, her mind sharper. The gun became an extension of calm. And this calm wasn't denial of fear. It was acknowledgement. She didn't pretend the stakes were small. She simply allowed inner quiet to rise and let that lead her action. One evening after training, she sat alone under a tree. The world was silent. She closed her eyes and listened, to heart, to breath, to purpose. In that silence, she felt faith deepen, not the faith of blind hope, but the faith of preparation meeting opportunity. Then the assignment came. 3 enemy generals, highly trained, deeply entrenched, command networks that cost lives and futures. The intelligence was clear. If they were taken out, the operation would tilt in their favor. But the shot? Nearly impossible. From their vantage point, the terrain and the defenses made the probability of success almost zero. During the briefing, the commander looked around the room. Eyes landed on her. He said, "No one can make that shot." His voice steady, his face sure. Some nodded. Others sat in quiet acceptance of the assessment. But in her chest a spark flickered. Whether it was faith or instinct or both, she didn't know yet. What she did know, she would try. Night fell. The sky was heavy. They moved in quietly. The world around them bore the tension of unseen watchers, close danger, every shadow a possible threat. She advanced, rifle in hand, boots on cold ground, heart steady. Yet inside, calm. There were moments of chaos, gunfire echoing, alarms, scrambling footsteps. Friends shouting names, calling out statuses. She felt urgency like a wave, but rather than being swept, she grounded herself. A breath, eyes on target, faith in the preparation, faith in the purpose. They reached the vantage point. Darkness within, the clamor of battle behind. She crouched. The 3 targets were visible, voices, movement, shadows. The distance daunting, the defense tight. All said it couldn't be done, except her silent voice said something else. She raised the rifle. She locked in. The moment stretched. The wind whispered. Time slowed. Her heartbeat aligned with the earth beneath. She remembered the medallion pressed in her palm earlier that morning. The prayer she muttered under her breath. Make this count. First shot. The crack of the rifle rang out. A target hit. Surprise in the shadows. Movement disrupted. Second shot. She didn't hesitate. Third shot. 3 enemy generals down. 3. The mission pivoted. The tide turned. The roar of war didn't end, but the ground shifted. And in that immediate seconds afterward, complete silence in her own mind. She watched, smoke drifting, men startled, victory inching into reality. Not because of arrogance, but because of inner peace meeting outward chaos. Hours later, the team regrouped. Fatigue heavy, adrenaline still coursing. She removed her helmet. Her face was still calm. Her eyes carried something changed. Someone asked, "How did you do it?" She paused. Then quietly, "I wasn't doing it for the shot. I was doing it for peace, for purpose." Back at base, she walked past memorials, past photos of fallen comrades. She placed a hand on one plaque and whispered a thanks, the cost of war heavy in her heart. Yet she felt growth. She had faced fear, found faith, and risen. In the days that followed, the commander, the same man who once said, "No one can make that shot," approached her. He looked at her with respect. He said quietly, "You proved us wrong." And she answered, "I proved something right. Right for faith, for inner peace, for the power inside each person to become more than expected." What can we take from her story? First, skill matters. Training matters. But they aren't enough on their own. What elevated her was inner calm. The shot came because she aligned skill with faith. Second, fear doesn't vanish, but you don't have to be ruled by it. She felt the fear on that mission, but she didn't cower. She let it pass through her mind, hold the rifle and breathe. And in the breath, she found peace. Third, purpose gives power. She wasn't shooting to prove a point. She was shooting to protect, to serve, to fulfill a calling. When you carry something bigger than self, your actions transform. Fourth, spiritual growth happens in the hardest moments. On that cold battlefield, she found something warm inside, connection to something unseen. The connection changed the outcome. And finally, inner peace is the greatest weapon. Not bullets, not force, not intimidation, but stillness in the storm, letting the heart be anchor, letting faith steer the hand. So here it is. When someone says you can't, remember her story. When someone says the shot won't land, when the target seems unreachable, when the noise inside and outside grows too loud, pause, breathe, center, hold faith. Because the greatest victories don't always come from brute strength. They come from a resolved soul. They come from aligned purpose, calm mind, steady heart. If you carry a medallion, a memory, a whisper of hope, use it. Let it remind you that you're not alone, that you're connected to something bigger, that your hands, your action, your life can move mountains. This story isn't just about a battlefield. It's about each of us. Each day we may face impossible shots. Each day we may hear, "No one can do it." Let her story remind you, someone can. That someone is you. When you believe, when you prepare, when you find inner peace, the impossible becomes possible. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, please like, subscribe, and share. Let's keep spreading the tales that lift the human spirit. Until next time, stay strong, stay peaceful, stay connected. Thanks again for joining. If you enjoyed the story, hit subscribe and like. Drop a comment below. What's the shot you're facing today? Remember, you're stronger than doubt, calmer than fear, and more powerful than you know. See you in the next story.